So we're up and we're running and we're live. All the way live, ladies and gentlemen. So I get everything adjusted.
What's up, Bucs Report? What's up, Bucs Report?
Bucs Report. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. First and goal, gotta tough it out. Get in the end zone and call a hot route. O-line to beat, right down the street. And have Humphreys run right underneath. You know it's Bucs ball, we got the hardest D. Bring the pressure to the QB. You know it's routine, we got hard grease. Welcome to Tampa, welcome to Germany. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Reppin' for my team. Go Bucs, go Bucs. You know we want the ring. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Welcome to the Bay. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Tune in with Buccaneer Blake. Bucs back, we can run the toss. Mike Evans looking like Randy Moss. And Jameis make a play on the defense. You can't stop Levante. On my boy McCoy, who you can't avoid. At the Raymond James, you about to feel the pain. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise.
Well. Now that the preliminaries are out of the way, we can get this thing started. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to BUCnBLAKE SPORTS with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake, reporting out of BucsReport.com. You can't stay Buccaneers without first saying Bucs Report. Let's knock out the preliminary stuff first and get everybody that's a part of all of this greatness with Bucs Report and all that noted and appreciated. Again, welcome to the show. Wherever you're from, say it loud and proud. What section you sit in? I sit on 147. I'm out of the little corner of Dunedin. Peter Blake's right up not too far from me, I think in Clearwater. First, you got to give a shout out to the Bucs Report sponsors and all the sponsors here at BucsReport.com, because there's a great group of guys here, man. They work hard, tirelessly between our real jobs and stuff like that, and we all look out for each other and make sure we all get promoted and stuff like that within our own realm. I'm always a firm believer. You're not as great as when you try to put somebody else out, so I've tried to put other people forward and help move their stuff forward before my own sometimes. And that's kind of where I kind of got with all of this. I was pretty much working on my own and try to help everybody else, and they kind of found me. So please show Bucs Report sponsors some love by checking out the Rat Pack Sports Show, Rich Kid Clothing Line, and Woodham Insurance. Please check those guys out. And Woodham Insurance can insure your car, vehicle, boathouse, and all those type of things. Get with one of us Bucs Report members and for more information on that. Other sponsors with myself and Bucs Report lives in St. Pete, Tyrone Square Mall. Contact is Christopher Shaw, 727-381-4820. Receive 10% off your first purchase when you mention either my name or BucsReport.com. Most importantly, and my favorite part, please show my fellow members at Bucs Report all the time that they put in and the effort and the work. Make sure to check those guys out. They start by on Sunday, Midnight Madness with Bill Siebert. He's always going hard on there, giving his reports, working out of NBC. Tuesdays, Taco Tony, Tampa Tony, and the Rambling Rossi Posse, 8 to 8:30 on Tuesday with Tony Tate. BritBucs Bike coming out of London, 1 to 1:30. That's so cool that he's coming out of the UK, reporting the Buccaneers. I think that's cool. Thursdays, Red Flag Podcast at midnight, Phil and Mac. I think that's cool too. The stuff they bring and the flavor they bring, they're like a double dynamic duo. And then of course myself on Thursdays. Saturdays, Peter Blake and the Sports Web from 3 to 6 p.m. Also, he has the day after show on at 9 p.m. That's Sunday. If that's Monday, Thursday, that'll be Friday, and so forth. You get the idea. It's literally the day after show, and that's at 9 p.m. the day after. But he has a 3-hour show on Saturdays where he covers all the sports everywhere. Also, make sure you check out all upcoming shows. New shows, Mike Clayton, possibly going to be working with us and stuff like that when he gets his thing going. His show is going to be called Listen Up. Just pay attention and send me some inbox questions and stuff like that if you're interested in see where he's at with his update. He's getting all this stuff going because he's got so much charity stuff going on in the community as well. He's a very busy guy, a very good dude. So make sure to pay attention for his segment called Twitter Gangsters. A lot of people in the community out here in Tampa Bay supporting the team, bringing a whole lot of negativity to this team and bring views that don't need to be talked about, period, with other fans that are trying to see this team succeed. Let me get this out of the way. Fair use, copyrighted material without permissions from the copyright holder. Process such as criticism, parody, news, reporting, research, and scholarships. I do not make money off the videos. I just do these reporting. Of course, make sure to subscribe to me at www.BUCnBLAKESPORTS.com. You win stuff just for signing up. I gotta send the guy his stuff now. He won. I had it posted last week. It's at the tip of my tongue. I won't remember. When I ain't thinking about it'll pop up. He's out of Arizona. It's cool. We got Buccaneers fans out there in Arizona. And we'll send that out there. All right. So let's get with where we needed to be. Bucs versus Saints. What did we learn? We learned that we still can't make halftime adjustments really because we went up 14, left some points out on the field. We're starting to suspect that maybe it's not the kickers, maybe it's the holder. The only person hasn't changed, it's the same common denominators. It's the punter holding the kick. So maybe it's the kid. It's not the kickers all this time. Who knows? Maybe it's something we need to look at. I tried to pull up some of the stats on the punter when he was at Jacksonville and see how those looked, and see if there's some type of comparison or see if there's some type of validity to that. Chris, Caleb, and Jeff, what's going on? Our offensive line can't protect. I was paused for a minute because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. The offensive line can't protect when we play any premier pass rusher. We really struggle against them. Our offensive line can't give the quarterback 3 seconds to get the ball off without having to run out the pocket or focus down the field and wait for a receiver to get open and deliver a good ball. We don't have time to wait for that. It's pretty bad. And then when we get positive situations, there's a whole lot of bad penalties, holdings, false starts, and it's all inopportune times. It seems to always happen as soon as we cross the 50. You can count on good old Donovan Smith to create some type of infraction to impede this offense. And with that, with the offensive line, and when people talk about Deshaun Jackson and the ability to get the ball deep, I think it has a whole lot to do with, with protection. Like the fastest people in this league can't get 40 yards in 40 seconds. Well, 4 seconds, 4 point, whatever. And those are the fastest men in the league. Now, Deshaun Jackson is, the 30-plus club. Going to need some time to get downfield. I'm not saying he's 5 seconds and above. He's slow, but you get what I'm saying. The mandatory protection time is 3 seconds to get the ball out of your hand to get the ball deep. I'm just putting some numbers out here that are true, not my own. The average is 3 seconds to get the ball out your hand to get the receivers. And it takes 4 seconds to get downfield, but they'll bring that all back. You can't get 3 seconds in the pocket to throw a simple pass. So how are you going to wait 4 and 5 seconds for a receiver of that caliber with that speed to break downfield and break open? And I'm just bringing that up. I know Deshaun didn't play, but I'm just saying those are things that's what's going on here because you don't have enough time to throw and wait for routes. That's why Humphreys has been a reliable source, Cameron Brate, and all these guys were underneath routes because we don't have time to get the ball down the field, which predominantly what we've been calling is vertical plays. because we have the inability to run. Also, what we learned, I guess, was still in this week. Mike McCarthy was seen here in Tampa Bay. We're bringing Mike McCarthy in because basically it's the same. He run the same offense in Green Bay. They don't run. Their defense isn't consistent. Hopefully he can bring some better offensive protection in here because he knows how important it is to protect the quarterback and get a pass rush. They did have good pass rushers in Green Bay, so maybe that's maybe he focus on that offense and defensive line. And then the quarterback, hopefully he can try to get some type of Matt, I hear you. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Hopefully he can bring some type of validity, something, a little flavor in here, and maybe something that you learn from getting fired. And that's the thing with him too, with getting fired. You got to take something from the loss, getting fired. What are you gonna bring to the next team you go to, and how can you help them that you couldn't do with your other team? Matt says that Fitz had enough time to throw the ball. And I think, you were everybody brings that up with the deep ball thing with Fitzpatrick, and I'll say it to you like I said it to everybody else. When was the last ball Fitzpatrick deep ball he threw? I can tell you that last deep ball he threw was to Deshaun Jackson in the Eagle game, second game of the week. Why? 2 reasons. First off, Peyton Barber made an incredible block that sprung him to get that ball out, which was good protection. And the second part was there was nobody back there to cover anybody. It was two guys in coverage. They basically sent 8 players back. And Jenkins thought Deshaun Jackson was going to run some type of underneath route, and he went and ran the post route and got open. But the fact of the matter is, you're right. Week 1 and week 2, and teams didn't expect us to go vertical on them. Week 1 and week 2, the Saints and the Eagles, so they didn't game plan to stop a vertical passing game. So now when you came to Chicago, they did the exact opposite. If you don't believe me, just watch the tape. They played back in back coverage that was not going to allow us to get the deep ball there, and just rely on the pass rush to force us to throw bad passes, and what you saw Fitzpatrick do, because he was under duress the whole game because you had the man-child of Phillip Mac pass rushing along with Leonard Floyd and everybody else. And that's pretty much where it's been all season. Teams are protecting against us with the deep ball because they know that's our game. They would rather us run the ball because we know we can't get running game going. We won't run the ball much. Now, granted, Barber has had some opportunities this year, and I think Barber's a fine running back. I think he just needs some better running lanes. He doesn't really juke and jive and all that stuff, so I really don't think that's the issue. He hits the hole and he goes downfield because he knows he's really not going to get too many opportunities to look for a cutback lane and stuff like that, because half the time either Donovan Smith or one of the linemen are just standing there watching as the running back scrambling for his life trying to get yardage. Mike Tomlin will be the next head coach season for the Bucs. You got to remember the key thing too, Corey. They got to want to come here. Even though Tomlin is from here, Glazers aren't too friendly. Well, the kids ain't too friendly, even on people that have been here before. They make rash decisions. Mike McCarthy, I just don't feel he has a modern playbook. Everybody says that about modern playbook and things like that. There's really not so many plays you can run. Everybody gets flashy with these reverses and all that stuff, and how many times do they run it? They only run it once or twice a game, and that's really all you get. So basically, all the plays are the same. It's just how they're executed, and execution is 9/10 of the game. Everybody can know what you're doing. Everybody game plans for each other. These people aren't stupid. They get paid a lot of money to research and figure out what we can and can't do. So it's not that hard, with plays. It's just opportunity plays. You have to run the ball to give yourself shorter downs. You can't throw the ball 3 plays, 2 plays. You go down first and second, and then you're stuck with 3rd and 10. That's why you run the ball. It's not soft play calling. it's giving yourself a better opportunity to gain the first down instead of have to get the whole 10. If you can get set, if you only have to get 7 or you have to get 5, it's great if you only have to get 4 or 3. Essentially any play is available when you have third and short in the situation. Matt Colston says Donovan Smith needs to go. He has a minus 60-yard running. Yeah, Smith hold the ball, can't hold his blocks, pass blocking or running, creates too many penalties, and I think he's just skating back so he don't get injured because he's a unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Jeff Hubbard says, just have to have a top 5 offense and have a record like ours. Simply a lack of discipline, and that has to come from the staff. When a child is disciplined, who do you look at, his or her parents? I work a lot with the juveniles and stuff like that, and that's not always the case. Sometimes the parents are adequate, and they are providing the need and the attention for the players, and if you're using a metaphor as a child, and sometimes it's just a child. And that goes back to what I previously said before. We have no type of model of what players we want to bring here. What kind of team are we? I mean, if we're going to be this vertical passing team, then I understand that. Then you have to get some type of offensive line protection here. That line needs to be top notch. And you need to have guys backing you up for the future when these guys get older and you think you're not going to re-sign them to a bigger contract. That's the kind of thing we got to do. If we're going to be this vertical offense, then go get a back that can catch, and one big guy, one little guy, and then whatever, maybe in between guy as the third string. Sitting, I'm tired of losing too. You got to bring some type of continuity here. It's got to start at some point. So, got to build an identity, man, so you can start moving in the right directions with these things. Let's move on to the next thing as I kept going in that. Oh, and I wanted to say the Saints had 2 turnovers. Winston played better than Drew Brees. If you want to count the pick, you can count it as if 7 seconds left in the game and you can't throw the ball inbounds without expiring. You might as well throw it to the end zone. So if you want to count the pick, that's fine. But if you don't count that, he played better than Drew Brees that game. Drew Brees had 2 turnovers, a fumble and an interception, a lazy interception. And that's just what it was. Are we blind, or is the defense actually getting better? I think the defensive line has definitely come together. They're playing as a unit. The Carl Nassib was a valuable pickup, and that lightens the load off of having to draft another defensive end pretty high. I mean, I'm a fan of drafting defensive linemen, so I'm not going to get any complaints if they do want to draft one. But it takes the pressure off because you can go get a secondary guy now to help with already the young secondary or another linebacker. There's got to be some more depth at linebacker. We've been decipated by the injuries at linebacker, and we showed how thin we were. Darius Taylor's played great. Bulla, couldn't cut the mustard, and some other players really couldn't get the job done. But injuries has killed us this season. Secondary as well. It's just unfortunate that all these things happen at one time. But I think the defense has played better under Duffner. Duffner said some key words and to me that I thought was what the people needed to hear. Duffner said that he uses players to their strength. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You don't make an apple and orange. You play guys what they're good at, and you play the coverage and stuff to what they're good at doing. That's what I wanted to hear, and that's the right move to do. Matt Colston. In preseason, most people said we were 8-8 or 9-7 tops. Whereas here we sit statistically on pace to meet expectations. Yeah, I mean, technically they are. You're right. But can we? We got to finish. They got to finish the last 3, which they can. I ain't got no beef with Baltimore. Please beat Dallas, and then we can beat Atlanta at home. So let's see what happens. Let's see how these cards play out. Matt's on fire today. I'm not sure if firing Cutter is the best move. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense over the past month. We were so close rebuilding. Rebuilding is a setback. I agree. I don't want to rebuild. You don't have to rebuild. Your team's young enough where you don't have to rebuild. You just have to get the right people in there and put in situations, and when you're stuck and when you're faced with adversity in the game, you got to find ways to win and not find ways to self-destruct. That's really what the fine line is. And when I say ways to self-destruct, I'm not just talking about penalties and turnovers. That's without question. I'm talking about missed field goals and drop passes and small things that kill you in the long run. So move on to the next thing. Offensive line fails. Offensive line failed us badly this game. It was horrendous to watch your quarterback run around in circles trying to find people open, and your line's just sitting there not trying to help block it. It was the secondest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, because a lot of people get caught up just staring at the quarterback and not looking at everything else around it. They were literally just standing there watching this man break these tackles and trying to find people downfield, doing everything that we didn't want him to do to begin with, and now have to put the whole team on the shoulder. And I have to give that man a lot of credit. He's taken a lot of heat and all that stuff. And with the adversity he was faced with, that terrible offensive line, he did not force passes. He did not fumble the ball doing stupid stuff. He held his poise, threw the ball away, forced to try to get throws where he could get throws in. And unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough. And I don't blame him at all. The offensive line needs to be chopped up and chewed up like everybody does Jameis Winston for last week. That offensive line was piss poor, and it shouldn't even be called a professional offensive line for the amount of pressure and hits that you allowed on your quarterback. And it doesn't matter who's back there. With that kind of pressure, it's hard to win and succeed. What you talking about exactly, Gabriel? You know I rant sometimes. But that's all on the offensive line, and that's who needs to be taking the heat, and that's who needs to be taking responsibility. And you're wondering, people are really questioning that Jameis Winston is yelling at players is a bad thing. Somebody needs to do it. The head coach ain't. Player accountability with that, when I'm talking about Ryan Jensen, you got to be responsible. You're the highest paid center in the league, and you're committing dumb penalties. You're allowing your quarterback to get smashed left and right, and it's just you got to take some type of responsibility with that. You're the center, man. You're supposed to be the quarterback of the offensive line, and you're just allowing this to go down like this, and it's just horrendous. And then you're taking a dumb personal foul penalty when you got the first down, and you lost the first down. So it's just shooting ourselves in the foot too much. We're consistent at doing that. And players do need to hold themselves accountable. The offensive line has been consistently offensive. I like that, David. And that is true. And they have been, and it's hurting the running back. People are questioning Peyton Barber, but I don't think it's Peyton Barber, man. Regardless of what running back you put back there, the same result is the same. The denominator has been the same. When I look at them run block, they pass block, run blocking. It's pretty bad. So I think you can't succeed like that. You just can't. And I think the players that are trying their hardest take the most heat, and I don't really think the blame is on them. So many penalties on just the old line is just dumb. Absolutely. Can't succeed. I just can't. I can't reinforce it. I'm just beating a dead horse here. But yeah, it's kind of rough. Where's Santa Claus at? Ray J and Stamen? Yeah, we're Santa Claus. Yeah, we are giving out gifts. Why are athletes held to a higher standard than everyone else, including parents? I want to hear some things what you guys think. Why are parents held, players held to a higher standard than everyone else? Why? Somebody give me a reason. What do you think? I want to hear somebody's opinion before I give mine. Somebody seems to believe our old line is average. It's above average. He built it. He's accountable for that line, lack of kicker, and secondary though. Anytime you see quiz was to help provide a last-second release for Winston, and that's just Winston taking the check down instead of forcing the pass downfield. And Jacquizz Rodgers was getting those yards. God bless him, man. He's great at pass protecting, man. Number 76 is the worst left tackle in the game. I agree. You're not going to hear any arguments out of me, man. What did football folly say? You have a manatee at left tackle. But don't get off topic. Why do you think players are held accountable more than anyone else? Athletes. And I'm bringing it up because that was a conversation I keep saying on Facebook where Shannon and Molly were going at. Well, we weren't going at it. We're having a discussion about that, about Kareem Hunt getting another job. And they say because he put his hands on, a young lady, he shouldn't seek employment anywhere else. And Shannon made the comment that that's fine if you want to go that route, but that has to apply to everybody else, your doctors, your lawyers, construction workers, owners, law enforcement, wherever you want to go with that route. That's pretty much where he went with that. And I've said this before, as I said it again, and I'll say it again. An athlete should not have a higher standard than a police officer or a doctor or senator, president, or anybody. An athlete should not have that much power over that because you're in the entertainment field. And I myself get starstruck and stuff like that with all that. And it's not really autographs for me. It's just to have conversation with people and their upbringing and where they're from and the struggles that they went through, because I kind of, admire, because I myself wanted to play at that level. So that's where that kind of comes from with me, and it helps me relieve myself from the everyday life things that we deal with, and it's my kind of relief for that. So what's I saying? So they're just athletes. So and it should be treated as such just because they're on TV and it's an entertainment thing. I don't think that they should be held to a higher standard than people who actually make impactful things in this world, as far as making laws and changing, executive decisions in this country and stuff like that. And I'm not just talking about the president, I'm talking about anything, doctor and stuff like that. People that, put years of education to take care of us, save our lives and things like that. I think those guys should be recognized a little bit more. If somebody is an athlete, military, 10 times we only think about military is when everybody else is talking about it or when it's popular. Those people should be held to a higher standard than athletes. They're entertainers. That's pretty much what they are. They're no different than Celine Dion, Arnold Schwarzenegger, anybody of that. They're just entertainers. And I think because your own personal values or what you enjoy, or they do something that you like, you think that they should hold a higher accountability in the world than what it is. To avoid sickness, we have to stop using free agency as a band-aid for arterial wounds. Build with youth and unity. David Daughtry. I agree. You build that, and continuity is the word I think would best sum that continuity, youth, and when they move in contracts, you just replace. That's how you do. You got to have a system. Matt says we put athletes on a pedestal. All us overweight couch potatoes live out our fantasies through them. Yeah, but when you actually think about it, they're just entertainers. They're just entertainers. That's what they are. It's because most are black sports black sports player on our modern day slave trade. I mean, I talked about that before. Garland Burney Senior. It's definitely. I thought about Roman days when they looked in the gladiator in the stadium with the gladiators fighting each other down in the arena. That's definitely something I compared it to, because it kept the masses at bay and kept their minds off of what's going on or whatever they got going on in there. And a lot of stuff is done in the dark because that's being what's focused on now. And I think it's a lot of comparison to that because, the world, times change, but the things in it don't really change that much, just the players. So I kind of can see what you say with that. Put athletes out there, paycheck players. There's a lot of those. Bucs should beat Ravens if we want John Harbaugh next season. The main thing, John Harbaugh has to want to come here. Matt says we forget these are kids making millions playing a game. Very true, and I think everybody don't think that. Everybody's putting their personal perspectives on a 21-year-old man. You've had a kid. If anybody's had a kid that's 21, he doesn't know a whole lot at 21. These kids make the same mistakes as regular Joe does, but if they live in the spotlight, much more is expected. You sign up for that when you cash your weekly check. That's equal to double than the annual salary. You can't say you really sign up for that. You can and you can't because it's a profession that you took. I get that part. It's a profession that you took, but you don't deserve the litigation and the judging and somebody else's expectations that they have for themselves on you. You didn't ask for that. You're just a man trying to live his life, and you worked hard for it. You worked hard to get there. It wasn't like you were given that. The God-gift ability to play football, baseball, basketball is not enough. Your work ethic is what separates you from everybody else. The game is won and mastered from the neck up. The body will break down. The body will betray you. It will end you in any moment. But the game is evolved and is better from the neck up. And you only learn that when you get older. You only learn that when you experience those things. And some people do get it a lot faster, but they don't. And people have to realize that. And we live in a violent world, so it's just where we're at. All right, Bucs go international. I was going to touch this one. Until I read exactly what the stipulations were, I had something to say, so I really don't have too much to say now. All I'm going to say is that it's kind of hurts, kind of sucks. I'm missing a home game. With that, I'm going to move up closer since I don't have to pay for that the extra seat. So I'm going to move up. I'm already in row 3. Probably try to either move up to 2 or 1 in the end zone where the pirate ship is. So look for me on TV. I actually sit. If you don't believe me, I actually sit. You see where the pirate ship is at the top? I actually sit here where these white shirts are. Right down there in the end zone. So, I would love for Mike Tomlin to be our head coach. He's from here. He was here. He won a Super Bowl with us in 2002. He Morris did as well. I'd like to see our own home guys be here, and I wish the Bucs would go back and get those guys and bring them back here because they know what continuity it takes because they've been here for a Super Bowl team. Tomlin got his own. Garland Bernie, my kids are great athletes, and I would push them to play sports, but I don't anymore. I see things differently, and more important things to learn. There is. I don't sell any tickets. There's other things in there. If they want to play, a sport, that's up to them. I wouldn't force anything on them. I would let these kids build their own path and build their own brand, but I would offer knowledge on another path. But the choice is there. They have to walk it. This is why older players need to mentor rookies, as some of the greats and Pro Bowlers. Then they had Big Brother and showed them the ropes. And there's people that are going to fall. Everybody's not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You have to learn from them. The failure and mistakes are the greatest teacher. If you didn't learn anything from it, then it's just a waste of time. But yeah, Bucs go international because we got granted the Super Bowl. Be looking forward to that. Make sure I have all that weekend off for that one. Looking forward to it. And my favorite part before I get caught up, keys to victory versus versus the Ravens. So let's check this out. I'm not gonna bore you guys too much. Y'all don't love watching film like I do. So let me add this to the broadcast here. I'm gonna put myself down in the little box. And we're gonna check out some of their plays. Let's see how many I can get right off the bat. So I don't watch the tape good with y'all. It's not fair. So let me see if I can get these plays right off the bat. So let's see. Ravens first series on the ball. Ooh, what is this? Option RPO. Yep. I could have told you that right off the gate from that formation. And you can stop back and pass, but the pass is going to come up from the top screen. It is power pistol formation offset. It's pretty much pro set offense, but it's a shotgun version. Plus a jet sweep. Oh, they're going to do that on us all day and get us out of position. And Lamar Jackson's going to go back the other way. You're going to see that a whole lot when we play them Sunday. Second down, 2nd and 6, got 4 yards out of that. That's the importance of running the ball. Twins, pistol, and then you got twins down here. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, nobody in there. So let's see. You got pistol. It's probably going to be another RPO situation. If I had to guess, it's probably going to go up here. You try to get this safety or all this movement here moved. Shift over and throw it on the slant on the backside here. Well, let's see what happens if they don't run it. They ran it. Lamar Jackson is going to keep running and get himself hurt. Jet sweep. Third and 4. Trips. Going to send a receiver in motion. You're going to see this a lot Sunday against us because the Saints were successful doing it. They're going to do it too. All right. Receiver comes in motion. This looks like man coverage. They're down in the box. They're coming. Got no DB down here, so he comes over here. It's a straight man coverage. Probably RPO situation. Send them back here. And somebody's going to come across here for a slant. Nope. Max protect. Chiefs only send 4. You got this tight end on the drag here if you wait. Oh, he took the post. Converted the first down. Watch his eyes on this. The defensive back's got to be all over this. He's young QB, so he doesn't know how to learn how to do that. Steps back. Looks right over there, staring it down. First down. Looks like a run power formation. 2 tight end set. And receiver here. Probably just a power run right up here in this gap. There it is. Stuffed. He'll come back to that later and go against the backside here. So I figured that because you got a shade of one shaded to the A gap. Then you got a 2 shaded in the B gap. I mean, your gap is right here. Kick out block, chip down, get to the next level. Fullback's supposed to get up there to the safety, but it doesn't exactly work out that way. Totally miss Ford, and he makes tackle in the backfield. I don't think that's how that play was supposed to be drawn up. And this is Ryan Jensen's old team. Shotgun formation. Trip twins, sit in motion. If he comes over, I would hand it off. They're not, so they're probably just going to leave it like that and throw the flare. Yep. See that a mile away. If he had came, they would probably hand this ball off back. So they don't, keep it, and then throw it back out there. Third and 8, passing situation. Well, I told you running the ball is important to give yourself shorter downs and distance. So I know Lamar Jackson's throwing on this play. He can do an RPO out of this. If this guy comes, they could send a drag under here and then hit this post route, this slant route right here in this little gap if they want to. Or they can drag. He can go on the seam and run a corner, or clear route and then throw the slant underneath here. So let's see what he chooses. Or he can go backside here. But I think he goes up top. Good protection. The slot comes across. He was looking for the single side, so that's where he likes to go. Ball's thrown behind. There's going to be plenty of chances for picks. It's a nice drive he's mustering up right here. If I'm him, I'm going at the single receiver. Or you can hand it off backside. Stuff like a Thanksgiving turkey. So I'm not going to keep going into that. It was long enough. I wanted you guys to see some of this tape. I want you guys to check it out. And keys to victory. Keep the quarterback clean, sustain drives, lower penalties, don't get third and longs and things like that. And I think we should be fine. If we get long down in distances, they're going to come for us. They're going to blitz us, and they're going to blitz us hard. I want to get into Madden 19. What Madden 19? I always do that. Madden 19, Buc and PS4, BUCnBLAKE SPORts. They had us losing to the Ravens 24. 24-17, losing to the Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson pulls the last-minute drive to pull them to a victory over the tie. Let me get some of your comments because I couldn't see it while I was doing that. Oh yeah. See you, Matt. It was a good talk. Mike Tomlin benefits from the ownership of the Steelers. If he came here and not immediately successful, the Buccaneers fan base will hang him out to dry. Bucs fans are notorious for wanting to fire their way to a Super Bowl. It doesn't work. I couldn't say so better myself. You fired a man that probably should be still coaching this team in Lovie Smith for Dirk Cutter. Okay. Do an AM set and call it Wake and Blake. I heard that. I could do 2 sections, a quick one, Cameron. I could. I'm gonna take that into consideration, and that's where that is. Wake and Blake. I could do that, and then we just talk about film and stuff like that. That's a good idea, Cameron. Get back with me with that so I'll remember. But that's all I got for today, guys. I rambled on enough. I appreciate you guys doing everything for me, and I'm sorry I was late. I had some little technical difficulties here with the computer, and it was a pain in the ass. So we'll end this as we always do. You guys you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you can do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless, and fire those cannons.